Hi guys, back from Pax Europiana here in Vienna. I was just returning from Kiev, and as you can imagine, I call for Austria to join NATO and also to do that in solidarity with European Ukraine, who does no other crime than wanting to join the Western Alliance where about everybody else is member. And Ukraine shall be destroyed by Russian tanks now. For this? No. This one person demonstrations, obviously I have to practice a bit. But I say no. And I want to make it very clear here in front of the OECD, the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe, which was created as part of the Helsinki process in 1975 with the Soviet Union, where Russia is member, that a country which wages a war of aggression cannot be member of the United Nations, of the OECD, of the Council of Europe, and must be excluded and expelled from all these organizations. This is against all the peace order we have developed. Yeah? I'm not talking about NATO. I'm talking about the UN. I'm talking about the Council of Europe and the OECD. Russia will be the pariah of the world if it attacks here and now. And I call for Austria not to hide behind this immoral neutrality, but to join NATO and to show the solidarity that the Russian war cannot be the ultimate decision-making tool. Who is where and what. Ukraine is a free country. 30 years ago. I mean, Putin is worse than Milosevic, yeah? Worse than Milosevic, yeah? By him trying to withdraw the time. Ukraine is already 30 years independent, since 1991. They made a referendum, they wanted to be their own country, they escaped the Soviet Union. And now he wants to bring them back by the force of his tanks and shell Kiev or other totally wild things. I say no. And Austria, as a former part of the Nazi Empire, you cannot stand idly by. I mean, here he was speaking when he annexed Austria. You cannot stand idly by and say we are neutral. We are EU member. Have you forgotten? I have this flag, yeah. I was fighting for this 94, that we join the West, yeah, with Alois Mock and Erhard Bosek and Wolfgang Schüssel, who is now in the Lukoil board taking millions from the Russian dictator and not resigning and joking about himself in his Corinthian Altman hut organized and paid for by Russian money. This is shameful. This is not the peace bridge to Putin. Where is all these people who are on the payroll of Putin now when it's about that there would be the bridge? Where's the tweet of Mrs. Kneissl? Where is it? It's the absolutely moral bankrupt of the neutrality policy of the last since 55. It's the bankruptcy. And I say, let's end it. Austria join NATO. This is the alliance of the West. This is the alliance of freedom. This is who defended us, who liberated us from the Nazis. It was American industrial fiscal technology and manpower, not the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union would have been totally defeated without America. And now they have liberated, they have kept us free in the Cold War. And now we are neutral when the Ukrainians are at the front. We are then neutral. This is the most shameful policy moment of Austrian post-war history. And Mr. Schallenberg, that you do this, yeah? That you fly to Ukraine and you say nothing about European future, that you have no offers. I will not forget you. I will lead this NATO campaign in order to show the moral bankruptcy of the Austrian political elite paid by Russia and having no mercy and no understanding for the Europeans from Ukraine who were dying now, 15,000 of them. And now they are under threat again. And the Austrians say about nothing. Nothing, a big nothing. okay, flying there, making some nice pictures, showing the minimum level of activity, so just that Wolfgang Schüssel is not angry with anybody, or Gerhard Schröder. And now you see the whole policy is absolutely failed because Putin puts his tanks again. And if the war now really comes, I also don't know if it comes, yeah, but the Americans seem to really think that this will be happening. The whole policy of Austrian political establishment, based on complicity with Russia, especially after 2008, when about everybody is funded by Russia here, all the think tanks, parties, and the people themselves, so the important ones. Russia is not buying the normal ones, yeah. Kern, Schüssel, Gusenbauer, Kneißl. No, you have all to resign from these boards, yeah. That's high treason. I have to say very clearly, that's high treason. Okay, you can say we are not NATO member, but I have to get this out again. You know, there's the EU flag. As much as I remember, we are a member of the European Union. Have you forgotten? Does the stars no matter when it's for Russian gold? Mr. Lukoil, Rosneft, Gazprom. This is so bad. It's really very bad, actually. It's beyond bad. Anyhow, I will continue my little tour here and call for the exclusion of Russia from the OECD, from the United Nations, from the Council of Europe, and to also declare the status of war to Russia in case they attack now openly. The status of war must include the complete interdiction of trade, the complete interdiction of Russian citizens to the Western jurisdiction, the confiscation of Russian property in the EU, NATO and North America, and also the complete interdiction of trade, the interdiction of travel, the interdiction of the airspace. And all these things are the normal consequences of the status of war. Everybody knows that, yeah. When Austria and America were at war in 1917, they were confiscating the war, the assets. This is the normal consequence of war. We have not declared in 2014 the war, but if Russia really attacks now again, it has to be, I don't call, for Austrian troops moving. Yeah? There is no Austrian army to speak of, in fact. Yeah? And there is no European forces to keep Russia back if they really want to attack. Yeah? That's the reality of the forces in Europe. But what I say, economically, it must be the end of the ruble and the end of the Putin regime. And that we can do. We will interdict trade, we will interdict access to our borders jurisdiction, we will confiscate all the Russian assets, every single of them. And we will buy not a single kilocalorie of Russian energy, no uranium, no gas, no coal, and nothing. That is absolutely the fact. If this is escalating now to the full-scale war, as it seems so, there is no other alternative. And that must be the consequence. And we will all join, the EU will join NATO, Austria, Malta, Ireland, Sweden and Finland. And obviously, as hard as it sounds, whatever will be free from Ukraine after this attack will definitely join NATO as well. And it will be the shield against Russian aggression, and we will bring Russia down economically. And if you don't believe my words, then I'm sure America will do that. Because without America we are anyhow helpless, as we have seen again and again. And the shameful anti-Americanism of the Austrian political elite, which I encountered in the last week since I've published my article, is so disgusting. This kind of people who have never ever overcome that their grandfathers were defeated by the Americans in Second World War, and these hidden anti-Semites and anti-capitalists who have taken all over this Hitler ideology. They don't even know. The whole arguments are the same. They don't even know. I feel ashamed by the level of Austrian political debate and complicity, and that's really shocking. Anyhow, Austria join NATO. That's the only moral way forward, and support the EU membership of Ukraine. And as I'm campaigning now since 5 years for that, I cannot understand that we don't do that. Yeah, that's the logical compromise with Russia, EU membership for Ukraine, and that we not actively push for that. Schallenberg, if I will go to the grave of Alois Mock and I will tell him that you did this, and I will tell this, and it will be, I think, he would turn his grave when he knew how you react and you give up treasonable his inheritance of Western integration of Austria, sacrificed for Russian gold and gas. It's a shame. Anyhow, more to come from Pax Europiana. Austria join NATO for peace in Ukraine and in Europe. Thanks a lot. Bye.